This podcast is brought to you by Sci-Fi, the world leader in psychology fitness training. Sci-Fi is scientifically proven to help you optimize your physical, mental, and emotional performance through functional training of your brain, body, and breath. For the first time, have your own clinical psychologist, personal trainer, life coach, breathwork teacher, and mediation instructor all in one. Instead of having to wait months or even years for results, you get them in 75 minutes or less. That's the Sci-Fi difference. Rewire your brain, retrain your body, and refocus your breath. Learn more at psyfi.nyc.
It's been said, you, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit to keep moving forward. That's what Life's Tough, Boxers Are Tougher is all about. I'm your host, Matthew Pomara, and we explore a mountainous challenge that someone in the boxing industry has had to face. In the guest corner, he comes to us from Hartford, Connecticut. He boasts a record of 38 wins against only 11 defeats with 21 big wins by knockout. He's also a world-class trainer of multiple champions. Please welcome to the podcast the former New England Middleweight champion, the WBF Intercontinental Supermiddleweight champion, the Connecticut Boxing Hall of Famer, the Iceman John Scully. What's happening? What's up, Iceman?
How you doing? Thank you for having me.
Great to have you, buddy. I didn't mention that you're also a really good boxing analyst, right? You do a great job on it as an analyst. You're also help corner, Artur Beterbiev, right?
Right.
So you're quite the man about town, and then and you're also one of the ways we had met. You're a boxing philanthropist too, very generous and with your time, and I know you help a lot of down and out fighters. So so I'm really grateful to get you on here, and I was always a big fan. You have absolutely one of the coolest nicknames I think in the sport.
Thank you.
We'll hit on that a little bit. So, so how you doing, man? What are you up to these days? What's going on?
Actually, I just got word like 20 minutes ago. I'll be getting ready to go to camp in a couple of weeks with Artur. He's fighting Joe Smith at Madison Square Garden, June 18. So it's going to be a big fight. And, so I'm just getting ready.
Nice. Well, this is where you and I differ, my friend, is that, Joe Smith is my, he lives a couple towns over, and he's kind of almost one of the reasons I got mixed up in the boxing game again. Right. So that we'll have to discuss terms of some kind of wager at the end of the show today.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's awesome. So you're headed out to camp. Where do you guys do your camp?
Right in Montreal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And where are you? I know you're in Connecticut. Are you in Hartford?
Hartford, yes.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So look, we talk about this all the time. Life's tough, boxers are tougher. That's the name of the show. Tell us why you're a tougher than life.
I think boxing has made me tougher. Just the whole mentality from my first day in the gym. I really took it all to heart, and for better or worse. Sometimes it might not be such a good thing, but I've been able to deal with things. My father dying, my mother dying. Different. Even dealing things in a funny way. Like it's funny, but I'll say this. Like my daughter being born. Which when your child is born, that's absolutely one of the greatest days in your life, right? But it's like being in so many tough situations in the boxing and everything. And when I got married, when I had my daughter, I was right there when she was born, and I was like, I've seen stuff before, like it's it didn't faze me, it didn't blow my mind, you know what I mean? So, and like everybody says they get nervous when they get married, so nervous. And I'm like, man, like I sparred Roy Jones, man. Like getting married is going to be a piece of cake compared to that, So I don't get nervous at anything. And sometimes people get mad at me. My wife sometimes because things don't faze me. And I'm like, listen, I'm used to situations. You know what I mean? I'm used to this kind of stuff. Things don't faze me. I've been there. You know what I mean? So, on a world stage with cuts and hurt and, cramps and, all these kind of things. So boxing, like I say, for better or worse, has made me a different person than I would have been if I didn't find boxing.
Yeah, I mean, look, you had mentioned some serious stuff there as far as what you had to deal with, and I imagine getting punched by Roy Jones. It probably feels like you're fighting an octopus
Yeah.
with all the punches that he probably especially in his prime, he was just so
Right.
fast.
Yeah,
So
for sure. Yeah. Well, he made it so when I sparred Roy, we had some great sparring. Like we really did. One of them is actually on YouTube. And it was a kind of a thing where after I would spar him, I never worried about boxing anyone else because, nobody, is going to show me anything different than what he shows. You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah,
Like he's pretty much the epitome,
yeah, absolutely. So you had mentioned a milestone moment in your life, birth of your daughter. Talk to us about how being a boxer, how that did help you in that scenario.
Well, it's just like I'm super calm in many, I can name many situations when I've been, it's been a very stressful, whatever the term is. And I've just been the calmest person in the room. And I remember, I'll tell you, I'll tell you a funny thing. When, I don't know if they tell people this, but they didn't tell me. I didn't know what cone head. You know what that is with
Yeah.
babies, cone head?
Yes.
I didn't know about that. I had no idea. And so when she came out, and in my head, and I didn't even make a face, but in my head, I'm going, well, that's not normal. And I'm like, and in my head, I was like, oh man, she's deformed. And I didn't let on. I didn't want my wife to see any, trauma. So I just say, hey, if that's what it is, it is. And I didn't show any any expression or anything because I wanted to remain the calmest guy, which I always do, because sparring with Roy, sparring with James Toney, you have to remain calm or else it's a death sentence. So that's carried over. I've been on the highway where my car started sliding. Literally, we were heading sideways towards an embankment where if we went over, if we were in a van, it would have been a 150-foot drop, right? I was talking to the guys in the van while we were sliding, and I was like, "Don't worry, I got it. Don't worry. Everybody stay cool." And everybody's screaming and everything. I'm like, "I got it. Relax. Everybody be cool." And we stopped. And I truly believe boxing and being in the tough situations has made me that way, where it takes a lot to really fluster me.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great example as far as and that's great advice to our listeners. Is you're in a situation, you're in the situation, so
Right.
panicking is probably not going to be
Right.
it's not going to help you, right? So
Yeah. Not
so
at all.
staying calm, and and again, you swap punches with some of the toughest guys of the last 30 years. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um you know so talk to us about now, like in your day-to-day life now, how you say you still maintain that, you still are calm in these situations. Like, have you had to give advice and to people as well about that?
Oh yeah, like I'm very good at that. Like I like to give advice, and sometimes, and like I say, some people close to me, they're like, "Oh, nothing bothers you." I said, "Listen, man. I mean, I fought in Germany in front of 14,000 people who hated me.
Yeah,
Being lost on the highway is not gonna bother me. You know." And I'll tell you a funny story, right?
please.
Like I say, I was with my wife one time, and women apparently, when you get lost, that's a big thing. They don't like being lost, right? So we're driving. So she keeps saying, oh, stop at this, stop and ask this guy. Stop and ask this. Listen, relax. We'll find it. No, stop. Listen, there are millions of streets on this planet, right? If we drive down all of them, we're going to find the one we need. Let's start with this one and we'll branch our way out. And once I start talking like that, she just keeps quiet because she knows that there's no talking to me. I've already made up my mind. And I was like that in boxing. Like when I had these fights, a lot of times I was on my own. Like I made my own strategies. You know what I mean? I had to deal with stuff on my own. So getting out of being lost, in a car, I'm fine with that. I don't get flustered by that.
Well, and exactly. And look, that's, and that's a total guy thing too. Like I can count on one hand in nearly 50 years. I can count on one hand how many times I stopped and asked for directions.
I don't need one hand.
Even if ever, I was going to say, and I'm probably spotting myself one or two. I always say, like, look, you don't know where you're going. I always say, yeah, but I'm getting there fast. So,
and I tell my wife, I go, look, it's quality time. We're hanging out, we're talking. I said, the more lost we are, the more time we get to hang out with each other.
Oh my god, yeah, that's great. That's a great. That's tremendous. Talk about your career and how that affected you throughout your career, your ability to cope.
I think it's literally carried over into every aspect of my life. And again, for better or worse, and like I was there when my mother died. I was there when my father died, like right there, and I'm watching it happen. And like I tell people, it's not like in the movies, you know what I mean? They don't go peacefully, you know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff happens before someone actually passes away. And I had to deal with that. And I did so, admittedly, I was just super calm, super relaxed. And, because I've always been afraid, like in a fight, I was always afraid to show any kind of emotion, negative emotion, because I didn't want my opponent to have a jump on me, So I always kept a poker face. I always stayed calm. I did what I had to do. Even when things weren't going my way, I had fights. When I went into the fights, I was in a very bad way, making weight, just terrible things. Yet if you watch me, you'd say, he's not that busy, but he looks okay. Like I always look okay, even if I'm not. And so I think in some cases it's been an advantage for me. But like I say, when I was there when my mother and father died, I was very calm. I didn't lose control. I was able to keep it in perspective and took it for what it was, and I dealt with it and I handled it in the moment like I was supposed to. And so I think I've always thought boxing has contributed to that a great deal.
How long ago was that?
My mother passed away in 1996 and my father passed away in 2015.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So in the height of your career and then obviously in your training time.
Right. Well, it's a funny thing. She was actually on her deathbed when I fought Henry Mosky for the title. Now, not making excuses, it is what it is. Like I went over there the day I left. I was in training camp in Florida. The morning I left, our plane left at say 9:00. I ran that morning at about 6, and there was a payphone near where I was staying, and I would call my mother every morning. And I called the day I'm leaving. I called my house, and the police answered the phone, or a paramedic, whoever it was. They had taken her to the emergency room the day I'm leaving for Germany. I'm like, man,
wow.
do I get on the plane? Do I go home? Am I going to have to come back, cancel the fight? What's going to happen? So I had to deal with that. I was able to stay calm and, I've always, for better or worse, just been a type of person that if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But I can't freak out over it. I just have to deal with it as it comes. So, I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Some people, it depends.
I think
on
it's
who
a
you
really
ask.
good thing. I think it's a really good thing. I think it's important. And I think, again, the circumstances are going to be the circumstances, right? So
Right.
you having a meltdown or freaking out or
Right. It's not going to help.
it's not going to help. And then, look, in that scenario, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what that must have been like. It's one of the, great opportunities of your career, and then you have to deal with this on the back end.
Yeah.
So you fight Masque, tough fight.
Yeah.
And then you come back, and then is what happened after you came back?
Well, she passed away 4 months later.
Okay. So it wasn't
She
right
had
after.
her legs were amputated, and then she had a breast removed. She had cancer, and so it was a crazy thing. It was a crazy thing, kind of surreal. I don't think if I was a boxer, I think if I wasn't a boxer, I wouldn't have been able to deal with it, but for somehow it tied in and I was able to deal with it. Again, she had her breast removed. She had both of her legs removed just above the knee. And I took care of her. Like, we didn't put her in a home. We're not that type of people. We took care of her at home. So she's there with me every day. So I think that my boxing background helped deal with that. In a way, in a crazy way, it might have even been too much. Like, I might have been too desensitized to certain things. You know what I mean? Where it wasn't as emotional for me that maybe it should have been. But it was able to work out. I was able to stay calm and help her the best I could. And I never cried around her ever. Like, never. I never, and she never, and maybe I got it from her, actually, because she never cried either. She never showed me any fear of death at all, so maybe I got it from her. I don't know.
Well, no wonder you're so tough. No wonder you're so tough. So do you impact this wisdom onto your fighters, right? So you've trained, a handful of world champs, right? So,
Yes.
how do you impart this wisdom onto them?
Well, in terms of on a deep level, like I don't push that level on them because they don't need that, for boxing. But in terms of the mentality of a boxer, I know the mentality needed. I know what's required. Even if I didn't always have it or wasn't able to implement it, I know what's needed.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example. I have a fighter I work with, Yves Ulysses. He's a good fighter out of Montreal. He beat Cletus Selden on HBO a few years ago.
He was our first guest on the podcast, Cletus.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I work with him.
And what do? You work with all the guys who beat up my friends? What's going on here?
Yeah, apparently. But I'll tell you what, he came here to Hartford. We trained. And one thing I really stressed to him, he had never seen this before. And I told him, I said, listen, when the ninth round of Gadian Ward comes for you, you have to be prepared psychologically. That has to be in you. That's not just something that they worked on. Like, Arturo and Mickey had that. A million other fighters have faced that, and it wasn't a great round because they got stopped. You know what I mean? They didn't get up from the body shot knockdown.
Yeah.
So he had never seen it. So I showed him the round, and he's in awe, right? And I'm like, listen, they have that in them. You're not making these men quit. Now, you might be more talented than them. You might be a better boxer than Mickey and everything, but you're not making this man quit. You have to have that. And the toughest men aren't always like the guy that you think. Like, I'll give you an example. Two of the meanest, raw dog, vicious fighters in history are two men you wouldn't associate with: Sugar Ray Leonard and Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Those two men were willing to die. And, everybody talks about Ali and Frazier, right? And he got up from the knockdown. Listen, forget that. Nobody talks about this. You look at the 11th round of the first fight with Joe Frazier. there's not another man on earth that gets through that round other than Ali with what he was taking. Joe annihilated Muhammad in the 11th round, and Muhammad willed himself to stay up, and then goes to the 15th and gets dropped with the hook from hell.
Crushing, yeah.
And he gets up on the referee can't even count to one. He's up already. You know what I mean? That's special. So I showed that to Ulysses, and I said, listen, you got to get this in your head. This is who you need to be. And he went out in his next two fights and shined. And I saw a thing on Twitter where one of the reporters asked, where was this Ulysses in the fight again? There was a fight he lost the decision. He was lackadaisical. They said, where was this Ulysses? And somebody typed in, they wrote, that's because he didn't have John Scully in his corner for that fight. And it wasn't my corner work. It was my pointing things out to him on who you need to be. And that was the difference. And now he's a much different fighter, just psychologically, because of the Gadian ward. I showed him the 9th round and explained to him what it must have taken, whatever the word is, what it must have taken for them to do that. That's not for everybody, and there's a lot of good professional fighters that wouldn't have made it through that round. They would have got stopped for sure.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. And the Ali thing, I can't stress that enough, because you're right. You don't think of him like that because of, he was braggadocious. He looked great. He was, at the beginning of his career, he was lightning fast. At the end of his career, he would just take a beating and outlast the other guy. And Manila, Manila is the best example about almost willing to die. I mean, legitimately, both guys almost died. So, it's a whole different world. And, I think it's tremendous, and I'm always pulling for you, although again, we're not going to be on the same team on the next one, but I am always pulling for you. And I think I think this is a great lesson. And I absolutely am excited that you shared this with our audience today. So, as far as endurance is concerned, you ready? Can we do the Fast Five? Do you feel confident you can get through the Fast Five?
I'm in.
All right, good man. All right. So we talked about a lot of your accomplishments. We talked about a lot of the great stuff that you've helped your fighters with. Tell us the worst idea you ever had.
The summer of 1986, my friend and I decided to climb the fence and the wall at Fenway Park and run around the bases at 3 o'clock in the morning. We were going to run around the bases, and I wanted to slide into third base, and I wanted to run around the outfield like Fred Lynn used to do. And we were, I was like 19. I had no idea Fenway Park would have security. and we found out the hard way that Fenway Park does in fact have security 24 hours a day.
Oh my goodness. That's a good one. That might be my favorite answer so far. I complimented you at the beginning of the show. You have one of my favorite nicknames in the history of boxing. What's your favorite nickname in boxing other than yours?
I have two. I'll tell you real quick. Two fighters, I gave them nicknames. I give people nicknames all the time. Excellent. And we had this one kid named Dom and Dominic, and he was like kind of like a mama's boy. He's like 17 years old, a mama's boy. And, we'd go on trips and he'd call home all the time. And, on the way there, on the way back, while we're there, and I say, what's funny? Dom's going to be the type of guy, when he gets older, he's going to have like 7 kids from 7 girls, and he's just going to be totally wild. He's going to just go the other way. I said, and we're going to call him, he's going to have so much drama, and we're going to call him Damarama Baby Mama Drama. So that's his nickname, Damarama Baby Mama Drama. And nice. I got one other kid, a fighter, and he liked to drink, just on the weekends, clubs and whatever. And we always meet on Sunday to spar. That's our sparring day. Well, this guy, actually, no, running day, excuse me. We ran this mountain on Sundays. He shows up at 7 a.m. just to tell us he's hungover and he's not going to run. And I'm like, listen, man, you're here. What are you doing? You're here. Let's run. No, I'm all messed up. He probably hadn't even been home yet. So the next day, which is a Monday, he comes in to spar. And I had done 9 rounds. No, I had done 10 rounds. And I was going to do 2 more with him. He was going to finish up my 12 rounds. And I didn't do this intentionally, but I hit him with a body shot, left hook to the body. And he went down. It was like a Mickey Ward type of shot. And he goes down. And instantly I got upset. And I said, man, this guy was, drunk on Saturday, and he has the nerve to come here and spar me on Monday. And I'm walking around him and I'm going, how you like that? You like drinking? Huh? You like being hungover? You like it? To this day, that was 16 years ago. To this day, people don't have any idea what his name is. They know him as Hangover. That's his name. His name is Hangover. And people ask me, oh, what's up Hangover up to? And I'm like, oh, yeah, he's doing good. I said, do you know Hangover's real name? And they think about it. They're like, I have no idea what his real name is. I have no clue. He could be in the newspaper, an article about him, and they wouldn't know they're talking about Hangover from the gym.
Oh, my God. That's a good one. All right. I like it. What's your favorite boxing movie?
Oh, Rocky. The first Rocky.
Yeah.
The first Rocky was the only possibly real one, of the 10 or whatever, however many he's made, like 2 was, the fight scenes weren't necessarily real, but the general idea of it. But I thought the different aspects of that movie were real. Like when he's talking to Adrian the night before the fight, the middle of the night.
That's the best scene of the whole series.
There you go. And
absolutely.
He's telling her, I just want to go to this. He says it. I can't beat this man. I know I can't beat this man, but I'm going the distance. I'm going to be something different. And I understand that. And that's a victory. And that's something, moral victories, whatever the term is, in a fighter's mind and his heart. It's a lot more than just, you fight Roy Jones. I don't care what you say before the fight. People know they can't beat Roy Jones in his prime. Absolutely. They know they're not beating this man. And if they do, it's going to be by some, miracle. Freak of nature, a lightning strike. So you want to go the distance with Roy. And I don't mean try to go the distance, but I mean, you want to dig down. And David Telesco got beat every round by Roy Jones. I give David Telesco more credit than anybody for going the distance and hanging in there as he did with Roy Jones, right? He lost every round, but for the man that he fought and for the effort that he put forth, and people go, oh, he lost to Roy Jones. Like, listen, you know what that even means? Like you fought Roy Jones. You felt what he had and you kept going. That's a victory. I don't care what anybody says.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. How many people could say they did it? That's what I go back to. Right. And I get, when I go crazy when anybody talks about a boxer and they talk disrespectfully about a performance they might have had. And I'm not talking about the people who the guys who just try to survive, but guys who get in there and they mix it up. You are in a different level of brave when you're in the ring. Yeah. So yeah, I'm with you 100%. All right. What's your favorite pizza place in Connecticut?
Everyone in my hometown knows the phone number, 860-522-1966. Everyone in my town, if you say that phone number, they'll go, Wilson Pizza. That's Wilson Pizza, right? Everybody knows Wilson Pizza. Wilson Pizza's legendary. Lines out the door. I've been eating there since I was 4 years old. My father and I, every Friday night, he'd get a small sausage pizza.
Nice. Wilson's Pizza. We're gonna We're going to come back to that at the end because I got another question for you. All right. Tell us a clean joke.
Man, a clean joke. All right. My daughter told me this one years ago. She came home from school. She was all excited. She said, knock, knock.
Okay. Who's there?
Cow.
Cow who?
Cow moo.
We'll take it. We'll take it. It's good. That's good.
Yeah, I liked it.
I told you we stumped you. We stumped your friend Vinny Paz with that one. I don't think he knows any clean jokes.
Nah. Vinny doesn't know clean jokes. I could have told you that.
So look, I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. So how about this? How about we do pizza at Wilson's versus pizza here at La Volpe on the Smith Better Be Out fight?
I'm in. I'm confident.
Booked.
I'm
Booked.
confident.
All right, we'll book. Yeah. So yeah. So if we'll work that out, but then absolutely, and then tell everybody where they can find you on social media and such.
I'm banned from Facebook right now for a little while, so you won't be able to find me there for like 2 more weeks. But I'm at John. What's my name there? John the Iceman Scully or Iceman John Scully. One of those two. But like I said, give me about 14 more days, and then my Twitter and my Instagram. I'm pretty sure both of them are Iceman John Scully.
Excellent, and we'll post it in the. We'll post it in the show notes.
Okay.
I can't thank you enough for doing this. And again, next charity thing you do, count me in. And then we'd love to have you down for Long Island Boxing Charities. Come and help us out as well. And it's always great to catch up with the Iceman John Scully.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I love to come to New York. So I guess I'll be talking to you after the fight on June 18th.
You got it, buddy. We'll be in touch.
All right,
Hopefully I'll see you there. Thanks a lot.
All right.
All right,
Yes,
bye-bye.
sir.
That's going to be the final bell for today's podcast. If you like what you hear, give us a like and hit the subscribe button with your best power punch. You can check us out at Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and anywhere you can find quality podcasts. We hope our stories inspire you to fight on. We thank you for listening, and remember, life's tough, boxers are tougher. Have a great week, everyone.